All right, before you go out and spend $50,000 on a brand new Bronco, here is everything that you should know before buying. What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. My name is Jake and today we've got the Ford Bronco with us. And today I wanted to go through some of the features, some of the functions that we have on the Ford Bronco, and then compare and contrast those to what you can get in the 2025 Ford Bronco lineup. But there's a lot to dive into. This right here specifically is a 2024 Wildtrak Edition Bronco. And this one actually has the Sasquatch package on it, which, if you don't know, is the best bang for your buck if you're looking to buy one of these cars. But there's a lot of other trim levels and there's a lot of other things that we can go into. So let's dive right in. Alrighty, so for 2025, Ford actually removed 3 different models from the lineup. Then they brought back the base edition to round out the entire section to 7 different trim levels that you can get for the Ford Bronco, which to me is absolutely insane. You don't need 7 different trim levels if you're buying a Ford Bronco, but they have them. And so we're going to walk through some of those changes today. This one right here, like I said, is the Sasquatch package, which gives you a couple more additions on top of the base model. For 2025, they kept the Sasquatch package. And so if you guys are looking for a Ford Bronco, definitely look for the Sasquatch package. And I'll go into why in a little bit here. But starting with the base model. The base model for these Ford Broncos is still super impressive. You always get the option to have 4-wheel drive. You always get the option to remove your doors and your roof to kind of give you that, really free outdoor feeling, that off-roading feeling. And with the base model in 2025, Ford is offering a manual transmission or an automatic transmission. Now, the base model does come with an engine that's putting out around 300 horsepower, around 325 foot-pounds of torque, which is plenty if it's just your daily driver. If you're going into the mountains or you're going rock climbing, crawling, or, off-road trails, you might want to think about this Sasquatch package, but let's dive into some of these other trims first. All right, so for the base model, you actually have the option to go between 2 and 4 doors. This one behind me is obviously 4 doors. But going up into the next trim level, which is the Big Bend package, it's important to know that for 2025, only 4-door vehicles are available in the Big Bend package. Now, what does the Big Bend package get you? That's going to give you bigger wheels, bigger tires. It's going to give you a leather-wrapped steering wheel, some more amenities inside, the door lights, right, to shine on the ground when you open the door, and just some of the more luxury items that you would expect if you're spending the $50,000 price tag that comes with the Big Bend models. So we went through 2 different models, the base model and the Big Bend model. And what you'll notice is that some of these models don't have a whole lot of things that are radically different between the different trim levels. And again, that's kind of one of the reasons why I don't think you really need 7 different trims. But going into the next trim level is the Heritage Edition of the Bronco. This one pays a little bit of homage to the 1960s, the really classic Ford Bronco. These Ford Broncos have some of the steel look wheels, the steel look fenders, the white infotainment system on the inside, and just have some of the more that retro look. What you'll notice about some of the Heritage models is they start at around high 40s, low 50s, and can go all the way up to the $70,000 mark if you really decide to spec it out with all the options. The Heritage model is the third one that I wanted to go through that, again, for those real old school lovers of the Ford Bronco, they're going to absolutely love it. But you could probably have just put a color package on, the Big Bend model or even the base model and get really the same thing. All right, so the 4th model that I kind of wanted to give you an overview on is the Outer Banks model. Now, the Outer Banks model is only available in the 4-door configuration, but this is the model in the trim level where Ford is kind of merging the luxury SUV and the off-roading SUV. And so with the Outer Banks model, you're going to get stuff like heated steering wheel, your heated seats, LED fog lights, and you're also going to get the option to get carpet floors, which in an off-road car is kind of a pain in the ass because those are going to get dirty real quick. But for the people that want their off-road vehicle to feel like a luxury SUV, that's where the Outer Banks model is really going to come in handy. And these cars go for right around $55,000 at the start. And then as you add options, they're going to increase from there. But yeah, the Outer Banks model is the 4th trim level. All right, now we are number 5. The 5th model that Ford is offering for the 2025 Ford Bronco lineups is the Badlands Edition. Now, the Badlands Edition, you guys have probably seen on the road quite a bit. The Badlands Edition is the ultimate off-roading beast. So the Badlands Edition actually upgrades your suspension, upgrades your wheels and tires, and just gets you to a point where you can pretty much take on any kind of off-roading scenario in your Ford Bronco. Those are a little bit more expensive, but that Badlands one is really cool. To me, it kind of mirrors a lot of the features and functionalities that we have on the Sasquatch package. But if you are looking for a 2025 model, the Badlands one is a cool ass car. Now let's get into the last two models, which are really fun to talk about for the 2025 Ford Bronco. We got a little break in the rain here, so I can go out and film these last two models that we have. The sixth model that we were going to talk about here for the 2025 Ford Bronco lineup is the Stroppe Edition. Now, this is a kind of nostalgic trim level that Ford brought back to kind of pay tribute to the 60s and the 70s racing Broncos that they used to have. And so these edition Broncos are going to have only two-door vehicles. They're going to have a very classic orange and blue color scheme that kind of matches those old colors. And they've got an upgraded engine that's putting out around 330 horsepower. It's certainly something that looks really cool on the road, but it's really all of the benefits you get from the Sasquatch model with a different color scheme. So again, I don't really know if they needed to have a completely separate trim level for that edition, but you know, they do. And so we have to talk about it here. But let's go on to the final trim level before we get into all of the cool Sasquatch package upgrades. And that is the Bronco Raptor. All right, so the Bronco Raptor. The Raptor Bronco is absolutely a beast. It starts at like 77 grand, which is crazy for a Bronco, but you're going to get all the bells and whistles. Upgraded wheels, tires, engine, transmission, everything. And you've seen some of these, they're actually pretty rare on the road, but the Ford Bronco Raptors are so cool. And it kind of goes with like the F-150 Raptor and even the Ranger Raptor. They've got really all of the things you could ever need to go off-roading in. So those are the 7 different trims that Ford is offering for 2025. But I kind of want to break down why I think that the Sasquatch package is actually the best bang for your buck and why you don't need to go through all 7 trim levels to get all of these cool features. Let's dive in right now. All right, like I said, this is the Wild Track Edition with the Sasquatch package on it. And what that means is you actually get a bunch of upgrades. And so the first upgrade I wanted to look at were these wheels. Now, these wheels are giant. They're massive. And you can also tell that they actually have the ability for you to actually install a bead locking system on there, which is kind of cool. You know, if you're really serious into off-roading, having a wheel from the factory that is bead lock capable is a pretty cool addition. And so beyond just the wheels and tires upgrade, you're also going to get a bunch of cool stuff in terms of the suspension with the Sasquatch package that lets you go off-road. And you actually get the GOAT terrain management system. So let's hop into the car and I can show you guys that. All right, so we are inside the Ford Bronco right now. And I want to kind of give a little bit of a rundown of what you actually have inside one of these vehicles with the Sasquatch package, specifically the GOAT terrain system. So obviously, because you can take the doors and the roof off, all of your controls are going to be in the center between the driver and the passenger. And that's pretty normal for, you know, any Jeep owner out there. Your window controls are in the center. Same thing for these Ford Broncos. And so actually right below the shifter is this GOAT mode. And this one right here is this GOAT mode. And so you'll see here, it actually says GOAT modes, and you can go left or right to actually change the different kind of modes. And those modes show up right here in the center console. So we're going to go ahead and change the GOAT mode, and we'll see what happens on the screen. We've got normal mode, eco, sport, slippery, and while we go into slippery, we do see the notification for the 4-wheel drive system. We'll continue on that from slippery over to mud. We'll go from mud over to sand, from sand into Baja, and Baja is the last mode. So let's go back all the way to normal. Cool. So after looking at some of those drive modes and considering all of the other great upgrades you get with the Sasquatch package, the wheels, the tires, the suspension, the GOAT terrain system, and all of that, I really think it's worth the money. Right now, Ford's offering the Sasquatch package for around $8,500 as an extra option. And so if you combine that with the base model of $40,000, you can get an extremely capable off-roading car for under $50,000 brand new. And that's super impressive. I was doing a little bit of research before this video, and Ford was reporting that the base model with the Sasquatch package is actually one of the most favorited configurations for the Ford Bronco to this date. And I think there's a lot of really good reasons why. So yeah, I think the Sasquatch package is really the best bang for your buck if you're looking for a really nice Ford Bronco. But all in all, I'm just kind of curious as to why they have so many trim packages when 2 or 3, maybe 4 would have done the job. I'm curious what you guys think in terms of these Ford Broncos. Do you like them? Do you hate them? What model, what trim level would you get? And yeah, let me know down below. Right now, I would personally really like the Sasquatch package on any Ford Bronco that I pick up. But what do you guys like? Do you guys think this is worth it? Which of the 7 trim levels would you have picked if you're going to buy a brand new Ford Bronco? Let me know down below in the comments. Hit that subscribe and like button, and we'll see you in the next. Peace.